Sono nato a Borgo Valditaro, in provincia di Parma, nel 1942, agosto del 1942. Una famiglia come quei giorni là, appena finita la guerra, non c'era niente, miseria c'era in Italia quei giorni là. Una famiglia, eravamo in 8, mio padre era l'unico che lavorava e quindi siamo stati cresciuti. Poi la famiglia verso mio padre erano tutti negli Stati Uniti. Hanno emigrato negli Stati Uniti, mio nonno nel 15, 1915 in giro lì, poi tutta la famiglia è emigrata nel 30. Mio padre era sposato, sono potuto venire, siamo rimasti in Italia. Come ho detto, era una famiglia di 8 e mio padre era l'unico che lavorava per una fabbrica in Borgotaro e c'era miseria, ecco. Poi
la fabbrica
una fabbrica di tannic, acid tannic they were making, per via dei castagni, delle piante di castagno che avevamo. Poi le ragazze hanno incominciato a lavorare, le mie sorelle, perché erano quattro sorelle, erano 5 sorelle e 2 maschi, ok? Dopo 4 sorelle sono nato io. So I was the king of the house, il re della casa, ma non c'era soldi. Avevo un fratello più giovane che è stato la cosa, very traumatic thing, che mio fratello è morto annegato nel fiume Taro, il drown. Aveva 2 anni meno di me, ero lì con lui quando è successo questo, che è negato. Abbiamo cercato di tirarlo fuori, but we pull him out, he was dead already. So, it was very sad thing for me there in Italy. I miei genitori erano super protective over me. And cosa succede? Dopo è arrivato il 59, dato che avevamo mia sorella più vecchia era in America, una era in Svizzera e via qui e là. So, mio padre ha deciso di emigrare negli Stati Uniti. Ok? E siamo emigrati nel 59 e sono emigrati per me, per aiutarmi. It was no future in those days in Italy. So then if I was stay one more year in Italy, we never will emigrate. In 1960, it was the economic boom in Italy, so, But we left before, but thank God. I came to the United States. Go back in Italy, I was working as mechanic, automobile mechanic, I was a little kid, I had a full-time job. I did the 5th grade in Italy. And after 5th grade, at 11 years old, I started to work in this garage, which I used to love cars, I still love cars. And then we decided to come to the United States, my father, all right? So we came to the United States, and in those days it was very tough. I couldn't speak English, nothing. The only job they were doing in New York, people from Borgotaro, was working in the restaurant business. Okay, so I met this friend of mine from Italy. He found myself a job at the Merchants Club in New York, that it was always downtown. I never forget the first day I was there. He told me to be present at, he said to me, be there, meet me in this bench, right by the cereal. He said, meet me in this bench at certain hour. It was at 10 o'clock, 10:30. I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning, waiting for him. I want to be on time. So I start to work in this place. I go in this restaurant. Never saw a restaurant in my life. As a kid, who saw a restaurant in Borgotaro? You kidding? So I'm there. They give me this uniform. I was feeling like a general. I was boss boy. And I start to work there. I couldn't speak English, which I don't. Not now I could speak with English, but then you imagine. Yes. So So that's what happened. So I start to work there, which I love. I love a restaurant business right away. But that it was only for lunch. So I find myself a job as dishwashers up in Yonkers, New York. That it was about an hour and a half away by train. I used to go up there, and work as dishwasher, first in the pizzeria, then in the restaurant. I was working till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And the next morning, the same thing. So now to make the story a little bit short, otherwise we go on for a month, I find a job at the Friars Club in New York. The Friars Club is a club that is a show business club. Is over 120 years old. Is one of the top show business club in the world. And I started to work there as a waiter. But I didn't know nothing about food. 1 year after I came to the United States, they sent me that. I go on 6, 7 months. Then the boss, he came to me, said to me, Frank, I have to let you go. I say, what up? He said, well, you don't understand nothing, the food, you don't know food, nothing. So I said to the guy, I said, do me a favor, give me a chance, 3 weeks. If I can make in 3 weeks, fire me, just like that. So what I did, why I'm very stubborn. I'm a Leo, stubborn. I start to study, my menu, go in the kitchen, ask what is this, make believe I take an order and everything. In 3 weeks, I become the top waiter at the Friars Club. Yeah. And believe it or not, I stood there, I worked at the club for over 55 years. 55. Oh, I started to work as a boss boy, not as a boss boy, as a waiter. Yeah. And I went on to become a Metro D. Then I become the restaurant manager till the day I retire. But prior to that, during the Vietnam War, they called me, the Select Service called me to go down to Fort Benning, Georgia, in the Army. When I was down there, before they made me swear in, I had a polonized cyst in my back. That is what saved me from Vietnam. And I say, I have this thing. They say, well, if we're going to do surgery, are you staying in the Army? I say, no. I made myself understand. I say, no, I'm going to go to my doctor home. That's what I'm going to do. They're going to do the surgery. They sent me home, believe it or not. They were supposed to call me back. They never was called back for the war. Okay, thank God for that. So then I met my wife, Franca, that she's from my hometown in Italy, the same town. We didn't know each other there. But I met her, during the subway strike, Lindsay subway strike. They make the strike, so I used to go down to New York working by car. We live in Astoria. And I said to her, well, if you want, I drop you off. So every morning I used to drop her off, have a cup of coffee and everything. I said, now the strike ended. I call her up. I say, Franca, you want to go out? Oh, I find an excuse. No, okay. So I stopped. So then one day we got together in a dance hall, and we started, so the way we went out, and 1 year later we got married. I have 2 daughters, Marcia and Sandra, that they born both in Astoria. Then I had 2 little kids in Astoria. It was in an apartment, we owned the house there, but it was a little apartment, so I didn't like. I said, I work very hard. I want my kids to be comfortable. So it's when we moved to Syosset, New York. We bought our nice home there, and we lived there. Then my daughter, they got married. Marcia, she have 4 kids, John, Sean, Nicholas, and Juliana. Sandra, she have 1 kid, Massimo. Okay, that they are my joy, me and my wife joy, those kids. And etc. That was my life there. About 29 years ago, my father-in-law, Giuseppe Cacchioli, and myself, we decide to form the Valtarese Foundation. The Valtarese Foundation, you see, I love my hometown, the area where I born and everything. That to me is everything. I born there, and it's something that I'm crazy for my heritage, and we built this foundation to keep the people from our town, from our area, together. And we have an annual dinner dance that Gabelli was honored a few times. And the next years is going to be Mark Gabelli, going to be honored. We had a bishop, mayor, you know, these kind of people. We had we raise money mostly for a voluntary thing, like the ambulance in my hometown, the hospital in my hometown, all the church, thing like that. And we do a lot of donation in United States. Then about 10 years ago, somebody come up, they said, why we don't do scholarship to kids in United States, to our kids in United States? I said, well, we try anything. So we started with one scholarship. That the first one we given scholarship, it was Seminelli. He's a gentleman that he was in the army. What's name of the academy we have upstate? No, he was in that. So we give him a scholarship.
Okay. Through a college here.
Through a college. No, you know, we get a few $1,000s. That's it. Why, it's all we had in those days. So we go on. The next year we have 4. The next year 5. This year we went up to give him 16 scholarship. Nice. We give them 13 here and 3 in Italy that they're going to give up during our feast in my hometown. And to the kids that are from Solignano, and one of the kids is from Borgotaro. And we do a lot of donation all over, you know. Like I say, every place we do as much as we can, that's it. Whatever we make, we give out. Whatever we raise. Every year we have 400 people at our dinner dance. And we have very, very good people. We honor a lot of big people. We honor a bishop, a cardinal from Italy. They come out. We honor a very big doctor from Borgotaro, from the hospital. We honor the mayor. We are the president of the region. And like I said, this year we're going to have Mark Gabelli, and we're going to have a couple that they own a restaurant in New York from Borgotaro. A few years ago, we honored the people from the Palm restaurant, which they are from the same area. You know, why in Borgotaro is a lot of people. I'm sorry, in New York is a lot of people from Borgotaro, yes. The Palm restaurant, yeah. I tell you a story. Palm, it was not supposed to be Palm. It was supposed to be Parma. But they didn't know how to spell it. So the guy from the license, he put down Palm, and Palm it became.
Is there a famous restaurant?
It's a famous restaurant, yes. But in New York, we have quite a few famous restaurants. We have Nicola restaurant. We have a lot of restaurants. Our people, now they stopped, they're not anymore, but our people, when they came over in this country, I don't know why, they all went in the restaurant business. My grandfather, he was a farmer there. He came over here. He went to work at the Pier Hotel. All these people. I had another uncle of mine that he was with the Longchamp. He was running the Longchamp chain, why in those days it was one of the biggest chain around. But in those days, in my town, it was no restaurant. It was 2 hotels, you know, the same kind of food, but it was not. Now they have a lot of restaurants, yes. But in those days, nobody was involved in a restaurant. The happiest time in the family is when you eat, all right? Sunday and everything. And we have this torta, they call them torta d'erbe. It's a Swiss chard pie that to me is a dream. Right now, I wish I, and my wife, she makes it just as good as my mother. Oh yes, minestrone, all those things. My wife, she come from a little town outside of Borgotaro, and at the age of 10 years old, they were in the farm. She had to cook for the entire family at 10 years old. That's why she became a good cook and everything. My kids, they never went to bed with a sandwich or whatsoever. All the time they had a meal. Oh, al mangiare al borgo è il più buon mangiare che sia. Avevamo i fonzi, che è la nostra specialità, avevamo il turte, e poi avevamo il pasta da Svizzero, che è il negozio migliore di pasta che esiste in tal mondo. E Borgotaro è per mangiare bene. Si mangia bene a Borgotaro. We have a pastry shop that they make the best pastry in the world. We are special with the mushroom. By the town is the capital of the world of the mushroom. Yeah, the porcini. Etc. You go there, you got all those kind of specialty there. Oh, yeah, but one thing, you have to eat the porcini from Borgotaro.
Oh, now I'm going to look at
Why
it.
the rest, they're not important, don't worry about it. The really porcini, they don't. And if I want them, I have a lady in Italy, my wife, she write to her, she go look for mushroom, and then she send them to us. I was tell you something, during the war, I was small, you know, by about 1942. So when I was 3 years old, believe it or not, I remember things about Borgotaro during the war. I remember when the America, they were bombing the bridge. My father used to put me on his shoulder and say, you see, they bombing. Then I remember the shelter. My father, one time, he said to me, no, it's impossible. You cannot remember the shelter. I said, Dad, the one that we used to go by the church, it was a big angel painting in this basement. And we have the bench at the church bench. He couldn't believe my father, I remembered that. That's what I used to remember about, all those things. I have very good memory on my childhood and everything. And I have the best childhood that anybody could have. I have 3 friends, which are still in contact now. No. Oh, yes. I have Giancarlo, Carlo, one I can, why was my brother, the one who died. But we never went out one without the other. Only 4, like the 4 musketeers we were. Yeah. I was going every year. This is the first years I'm not going. Why last years I had some bad experience with my sister, that she was sick. My wife, she got sick there in Italy, so, you know, so I say, 1 year we stay home. Yeah, we do a lot of things in Borgotaro. That is, like I say, you know, why we help the nursing home, all the nursing home of the valley. We give them some, not much, but whatever we could afford. All the church, we give them money. All the voluntary, like we have the Avis, which is the blood bank there. 2 years ago, we did all the air conditioning inside in their building, and the ambulance, the hospital was our first thing to do, and the nursing home of Borgotaro. Why the hospital? We spent a lot of money we given there. We feel it's sad now. They took her off the punto nascite, the maternity in the hospital, so we feel it's sad over that. But it's still a great town. Borgotaro is a fantastic town. I love this country. I love my country, why I'm born there, why I got my heritage there, but I'm American. Why, that is number one. But, it's my hometown, it's still your hometown. Where you're born is where you're born, that's it. I'm a member of the Family Community Club. I think so. I'm one of the oldest members, said, on the Family Community Club. Then, as a young guy, 10 years later, I didn't pay the dues, so I went out. Then I rejoined again. But I was a member in the old Family Community Club when it was on the Astoria Boulevard. It was not in the place that they are now. And I love that place. Well, that place is a part of my life, that place. Well, as a young guy, we used to go there dancing and everything. We meet girls and everything, and without having any trouble inside there. And I used to love the place, and I still like now. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And sure enough, the other day, we had somebody from Borgotaro that he left the West Coast, Seattle, by bicycle. He pedaled all the way down to New York, this guy. It took him 39 days. So we got a group from Borgotaro through Della Pina that is a relative of his, and we had nice feast inside there. We celebrate him, he took his bike there and everything, and we had a real good time. Well, I'm not a car player.
Okay.
I'm not a gambler. I don't play cards. They go, like this, but I like to go there, see my friend and everything. All my friends are from Borgotaro, from that area. I don't know nobody outside from there. No, I live in Long Island, in Syosset. When I first arrived in U.S., we were living on 56th Street between First and York in Manhattan with my grandma. After that, we moved on the 137th Street and Willis Avenue in the Bronx. The worst neighbor in the world, but the rent was very cheap. It was like $35, $40 for 3-bedroom apartment. But the neighbor was the worst. But to me, it didn't make no difference. Why? I didn't know what it was good or what it was bad. I never went outside. I was working. I had 3 jobs in those days. Then from there, we made a few dollars. We moved to Queens, to Astoria. That's it. Then after that, we went to Syosset. Oh yes, in those days was La Italia. There's still a few Italians. It's nice. Astoria is a beautiful neighbor. I love them. I go there at least 2-3 times a week. Oh yeah. I drop down. Why I have a house, I go take care of my house. That's it. When I think, or when I say something, I don't know if I say in English, in dialect, or in Italian. I really don't know the way, Why, to me, everything come out, it's me and my wife. We are home. Sometimes we yell at each other in English, in Italian, in dialect, and everything. Yeah. But I love my dialect anyway. It's not, to me, it's a language, It's not such a thing as a favorite word. A lot of time. It's something that, like I told you, the way I think on the language, that's it. Oh, porca miseria, quella lì alto, tante volte. Sempre di porca miseria. Story, I got a lot of story to say. He knows all my story.
I don't. So
Oh, you don't?
You can share one
Okay.
story with me.
Okay,
And
so,
share other things.
Which story we shall tell? The Friars Club is like I don't know if you know about, but it's very selective comedy. It's made out of a comedian mostly, comedian and actor. All right? It's one thing, I met everybody in that place, from the president to, I tell you the story about the press. This is funny story to me. To me, I love this story. One day what happened, I have a call, telephone call. It was a day that we had a golf outing. The place was empty completely. So I'm there this voice say, excuse me, which side of the street you are located? I said to the guy, I said, listen, you feel like to pull my legs? Boom, hang up the phone. 2 minutes later, they call me back. They say, don't hang up the phone. We are the FBI. I said, FBI? We want to know where you locate and everything. So I gave him the address. He said to me, you know who's going to be there tonight? I say, then I remember something, somebody, I said to them, sure I know who's coming over tonight. I said, the president. And he said to me, what time are you open? I told him the time and everything. He said, okay, we're going to send somebody to check the place. But this happened before, that it was this guy from Mouton Record, Clay Evans, his name is. And what happened is very good. He was very good friend with President Clinton. So one day he said to me, he said, I'm going to bring him over the president to see you. I said, why don't take a walk? I said, that's the way I used to talk to them. Take a walk, get up from my side, you know? He said, no, I bring him over. So it's why after that call, I remember what he said to this guy. I said, then the guy is not a baloney. Anyway, make the story short, they come over with dog and everything in the place to check out the place and everything. Now, 7 o'clock sharp, walk in, the president. All right? Come at the door. I say, well, Mr. President, my name is Frank. It's a pleasure to have you at the club. Blah, blah, blah. He start to talk. He want to know about the club, one thing, the other. Okay. We sit him down. And the usual, when a celebrity come, they're going to, I don't know if you will, on the corner table. We have 2 tables there on the corner. Okay, I have to sit them there. So they want 2 FBI guys, 2 security service in one side, 2 the other side, 3 outside. Okay, fine. So we are there talking. The president went around to every table to talk to them. One thing that is unbelievable the way he was acting, the president. That everybody was talking, you know. So now he get up and he asked me, he said, where's the bathroom? So I escort him down to the bathroom. Believe it or not, none of the FBI realized that he went to the bathroom. They realized while he was in the bathroom, all of a sudden they all coming down in a group. To me, that was very funny. I don't know if, no, I didn't believe it. Now I'll tell you something else about Pataki, the governor. Pataki ran against Cuomo. I don't know if you were in New York, but when they ran, to me, it was impossible that Pataki going to win the election. So this gentleman, a friend of mine, Dave Consi, that now is an ambassador in Hungary, he became. He said to me, Frank, I introduce you to the, I want you to meet the future governor of United States, of New York State. So I go there, I say, Cass, nice to meet you. You're the governor, I'm going to become the king of England. Just like that. That's the way I talk there at the club, anyway. So, okay, so the election, we start ballooning around, so the election happened. 6 months later, after the election, he came over to the club with the same guy. He said, Frank, meet the governor of New York State. I said, nice to meet you. He said, yeah, but you don't become the king of England. Another story is, that, to me, is a great story of Milton Berle. Milton Berle, I started to work there as a kid. And Milton Berle, you don't know who he was, Milton Berle. Milton Berle was a Mr. TV, the biggest man on television. He was nobody bigger than Milton Berle. And I was the first where that he became a very effective to me, all right? And sure enough, I have a picture. The last picture he took alive. He took it with me. Then he went to California, he died. So we were there to serve him. So I still remember what he ordered. He ordered tongue sandwich on rye bread, trim the edge off, and no cucumber. Absolutely no cucumber, just like this. So I go there, I go to the chef, I give him the sandwich to Mr. Burl on the usual table where he was sitting. All of a sudden, I see this guy grab the sandwich, the plate, throw him against the wall. And those days, we didn't have no carpet at the Friars Club. It was terrazzo floor, you know, like a marble floor. I said, what the hell I did? And now I'm going to get fired. Something wrong. He said, no, I'm not mad at you, kids. I'm mad at the chef that he sliced the tongue with the same knife that he sliced cucumber. Tanti auguri per il vostro programma. Speriamo che sia apprezzato da tutti. And buona fortuna. Oh, there's one person that I like to thank from the foundation, el signor Mario Gabelli. Gabelli, is like, is more than a member for us. Why we don't do nothing without the okay of Mario Gabelli. Why he helps us a lot. He knows what we do, and he really appreciates everything we do. Grazie.